And here we are at 6 o'clock. I am happy to see everybody in. Thank you very much for stopping by. This is Wills versus Trust, proper estate planning. I put that proper word in there for a reason. We're not going to be able to cover all of estate planning here tonight. I'm going to pretty much focus on one of the areas that I think is most misunderstood, which is wills versus trusts. And then we'll talk a little bit about some of those other things that we can really get into more in the second meeting. This is the greatest gift. If you're married, I mean, we've been married for 30, 40, 50 years, definitely want to take care of each other. When we both are gone, we obviously want to pass along a legacy to the kids. So we're going to talk about how to avoid common estate planning mistakes. We're going to talk about how you can outline your wishes. We're going to talk about communicating your values and goals. You've worked hard to put this estate together. Why would you just pass it along and let someone else make decisions for you? Maybe a judge or jury, or judge or lawyers, which would be probate. Maybe it'd be your kids fighting over it. I mean, there's things that you can do to make sure that your estate stays your estate. You're in charge of it. How you can help your loved ones tomorrow. But also, estate plan means we're going to help you today. So whatever funds that you don't use in your estate plan go on to the kids. But let's first make sure that you're taken care of. We're going to talk about the elements and components of a real estate plan. I see so much trash coming in. In fact, most trusts and wills that I see come into the office actually today are confetti. They're gone. Because, we have one. Yeah, well, it's 10 years old and it's never been updated. It's not properly executed. Now, one of the things that's the hardest part of this whole process, trust the process. We do this every day. This is what we do to help people, is educate people on how you can go through this process. It's not daunting. It's not hard. If you work with experts, in fact, all you basically are doing is getting educated and then making great decisions. You make better decisions when you have an education. Been doing this for 21 years, almost 22 now in financial services. That was after 20 years of running a corporate P&L and doing all those kind of corporate world things. We have a huge team of experts, CFAs, CFPs, MBAs, CPAs. You're going to see in a second how important that is. We have billions of dollars worth of successes, over 15 billion. And when I'm not working with clients, which I love to do most of anything in the whole world, I love golf. I love my family. I've got 3 kids and 8 grandkids and 3 doodles of mine. Plus, I think total between the family, we got 6 doodles. So we got doodles everywhere. You're going to meet a guy named James Jurica. This guy has got every diploma in the world. He went through high school wanting to be a retirement planner, financial advisor. That was his whole goal. He went through college. He got all kinds of diplomas. He got out of college. He put every initial in the alphabet after his name. He is an expert at this. Now, I'm going to make a disclosure right here. We're going to talk about legal issues. We are not lawyers. James and I understand estate planning. James is a licensed estate planner. James understands everything about what goes into an estate plan. So if you're at a webinar right now, and let's say you had a health issue, you'd want the person that's talking in the webinar to be an expert, right? Well, that's who we are. But tonight we're educators. MyFit Financial is my platform for educating people on retirement issues. Been doing it for a long time. Used to be at universities, and now we got the whole internet. We got people from 14 or 15 different states with us tonight. Thanks for joining us. Now, our focus is on you. This whole chart here, your attorney, your CPA, insurance specialist, wealth management team, investment managers, and independent custodian. That's the team that you need to make sure that you're putting together a proper estate plan. Now, they all cost $200, $250 an hour a piece. That was my problem back when I started this whole thing, was I had to do it for my mom and for me. And you can't get all these people in one room to talk to them. We did. We have them all in-house. Do they charge you? No, we don't charge clients for those services. We'll help you go through that. But when you have all these people training you, educating you, asking you questions, what do you want? What are your needs? What are your goals? Avoiding mistakes, finding out hidden pitfalls. That's when you can put together a competent plan, then sit down and talk about it and say, how does this work for me? That's our team. We've got a lot of expert team probably on this page and the next page, over 150, 200 years worth of experience. These people are dedicated to helping you succeed. Personal story. My dad died at 56. I was only 24. My mom was 53. She had never even cashed a check. She had never really even written a check. She had no idea what was going on. So I got an extremely fast education in retirement and estate planning. Obviously, day one, got a call on Tuesday at night and found out my dad had passed. Other stories over the past 22 years. Long time ago, a client's mom died at 93. Dad died 2 years later in Pennsylvania. I begged him to get dad to do an estate plan before he passed away. He was getting older. It was going to happen. When he passed away, it was a nightmare. He didn't do it. My client did not know where all their assets were. We couldn't even find, he had like 5 life insurance policies. We couldn't find them. He wouldn't tell his son. His son didn't go make him do it. His only child. Probate took 9 months, cost him well over $100,000, and he still doesn't have a clue whether he actually found everything. That's just unnecessary, folks. We have to get involved and we got to make these things happen. So who do we work with? We work with conservative investors. I'm not getting political here. Conservative by finances, protecting lifestyle. Don't bet the farm. Peace of mind, proactive, informed, open to learn and act. People say, well, I don't know. I feel dumb. No, you're not dumb. You're very, very smart. I work with a lot of gals that are very, very smart. They just have never been exposed to it. Work with someone who will show you all the options, not sell you something. Educate you. Then you'll make great decisions. Return on relationship versus return on investment. When we get to this phase in life, folks, we have to build trust. You have to know that what you're doing is correct. It is the best way for you to go. And that's by seeing all options available. Being successful is by choice. What's a conservative investor want? He wants income for life, preservation, growth, tax, pay the least amount of taxes, and a legacy estate plan that we're going to talk about tonight. All those other things are part of an estate plan once you become retired. This is what we all want, the love boat. You have nothing to worry about. It's going to be smooth sailing. But in reality, it's not. What is your real reality? Do you really understand the reality? You know, I had people a couple months ago losing crazy amounts of money and they didn't even want to open the statements. They're scared about it. We have to know what reality is all about. I got to go really fast tonight too, folks. I'm going to have to apologize because we got so much information and so little time to get that information out. So top 10 investment estate planning mistakes. Number 1, failing to plan. Do nothing. That's never worked so far. Don't do it now. Select the correct type of trust. There's a lot of different types of trusts. Irrevocable, revocable. What's the difference between those two? We're not going to go into really specifics right now. Which one that is right for you is real easy to determine. We'll do that in part 2. Properly funding a trust. So many people have a trust, but they didn't put anything in it. A trust is like a box. You've got a box, that's a trust. But the only way it's funded is you got to put stuff in the trust. So it's got to be probably funded. You got to have the right documents, but you got the wrong beneficiaries. It's got to be updated. You got to make sure that we're going to go through that tonight. Tax planning is part of estate planning. You just don't want to pass those taxes along. There's ways right now that we can determine and minimize those. Powers of attorney, medical and financial. What if something happened to you tomorrow and your son had to take care of you and he had to go get some cash to pay bills? Can't go to the bank without a power of attorney. So you have to have these things in place. Got to discuss all of this with the family. Got to name a trustee. That trustee has to be someone who can carry out that mission. there's assignments, there's tax record keeping, there's communication between, there's fiduciary duty to the family of, making sure that that your wishes are carried out correctly. You forget your final arrangements. How do you want to, you need to decide that now. I got that thrust on me. My dad had just died. I got to get home. They lived in Chicago, snowing like mad, and I had to go make funeral arrangements. Why wasn't that made in advance? Well, 56, he didn't really think about that. So charities, grandkids, how do you want to carry these things out? This is your estate plan. This is your wishes that will be carried out forever, for life, past life. Failing to work with a good advisory team. The best way to make mistakes is don't work with professional advisors or DIY. Try to do it yourself. No, don't do that. And then you got to update your plan frequently. Most plans are way out of date. Fact, successes plan. Successful people plan. I don't see people coming into the office who have tremendous amounts of money that haven't had planning put in place. It will happen that way, not by accident. You got to understand, where are you today? So let's talk about in part 2, what your plan is. Know your needs, goals, and a path to success. How do you fix the problems? Well, you can't fix problems until you know problems exist. You got to take control, build confidence, and then communicate. And maybe I'll even get that word spelled correctly. Sorry about that. Tangible reasons for a good estate plan. Avoid unnecessary legal costs and delays of probate. Period of story. Number 1. It's horrible. I had someone die during COVID who was supposed to be coming in to sign their trust, have a handicapped child, disability trust for the child, had a life insurance policy for $1.5 million for the child. He got COVID on Tuesday, died on Saturday. We just don't know when this is going to happen. He was in probate for 1.5 years. Why? Family was fighting over assets. Ex-wife, taking care of the handicapped child is terrible. You can avoid additional or unnecessary tax losses. The IRS, in most people's case, are the number 1 beneficiary on your retirement plan. It doesn't have to be. There's things you can do about that. You can assure your wishes. I had a couple that we talked to last week. They just sold a business. Luckily, 30 days ago, a couple $1 million, a lot of money. They're going to owe 20% on that, $400,000. No, you don't. There's a way to put that into a trust right now and push that on down the road and maybe push it off into a certain forever. This is what we want to talk about specifically about you. You got to protect your legacy. You've got to take action today to protect your legacy for tomorrow. It's not that hard. You're here. First bite of an elephant. How do we do the rest? Let's just keep going. So some real quick statistics. We all kind of know the federal estate tax exemption now is 11.4 million single, 22.8 million for a couple, effective in 2019. Don't know how long that's going to last. Let's plan on that it won't. We always plan on the worst case scenario and expect the best, but let's go ahead and do something about it based on what we're here at today. And then our people always update you on new tax laws, so that in case there's something that needs to be changed on your trust, you can go ahead and do that, or your will. We'll talk about will and trust here in a minute. Real reasons for good estate planning. Relieve the loved ones from making tough emotional decisions. My mom was nowhere near prepared when my dad died to make any kind of decision. So we had to come in, a 24-year-old kid. I just got out of college. I didn't know what was going on. I was just getting married and starting a family. It was too much. All that could have been made. All those decisions could have been made the way you want them to be made ahead of time. You can avoid or reduce family tensions and potential infighting. I mean, besides the whole financial loss problem of not having a plan in place, it's really just the fighting. I had a lady who